to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome everyone to our April board meeting. I will start by reading the appeal of decisions. Pursuant to the provisions of 2.68.030, the Metropolitan Code of Laws, please take notice that decisions of the Metropolitan Board of Parks and Recreation may be appealed to the Chancery Court of Davidson County for review under a common law writ of certiorari. Any appeal must be filed within 60 days after entry of a final decision by the board. Any person or other entity considering an appeal should consult with an attorney to ensure that time and procedural requirements are met. I'll move to the consideration of minutes, assuming everyone read the minutes. If there are any changes.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The minutes carry. Metro Council referrals today. I think we have a few.
Yeah, we have Councilman Cooper, who's here, and then Councilman Pulley, who's on the agenda.
All right.
With the presentation.
And before we get to old business, I just want to go ahead and bring up the topic of the weekend, the cherry trees. I'm just going to go to that first. So everyone knows the Parks Department, Parks Board were basically caught off guard, with the amount and the extent of what was going on with the trees. No one ever came before the Park Board, that, as it should have, to discuss this. Many months ago, I heard some of the trees around the courtyard or the flagpole, Court of Flags, might need to be moved, but that was several months ago and never heard anything from it. And so I think we're all just caught off guard. And having said that, I do want to reiterate and thank everyone for calls and emails and texts this weekend. It was busy, as you might imagine. But did want to let everyone know our staff is working with Samara Farms to relocate the 10 trees from the Court of Flags to the empty tree pits along First Avenue. And also I want to reiterate what was said over the weekend so everybody's in sync. No trees along First Avenue North canopy will be touched. 10 trees will be impacted. Those 10 will be located back to the park near the train station. We'll extract those 10 existing trees with the root balls intact. That was not the original plan, so that was a good change, and they will be replanted, and they will be replaced after the NFL draft. The NCVC and NFL will pay the cost of new trees and any work associated with that. They will also pay for any necessary repairs to the park for any damage that may happen. The NCVC and NFL have agreed to donate another 200 cherry blossom trees to Metro Parks, 100 from NCVC and 100 from NFL, which is actually very good news. And the trees in question are not part of the Betty Brown Tree Trail. There was a lot of concern about that. I want to really thank a lot of people for their support and engagement this weekend. There was, as you might imagine, lots of back and forth, especially Randall Lance, our wonderful staff member. His expertise and assistance and guidance through this was amazing. He helped everyone, not just us, parks, but the whole city. He's an absolute expert in this area. And Monique's leadership this weekend was great, navigating all of us through it. And we are where we are. And, at the end, we're going to get 200 extra trees. And hopefully we put back together better. But I just wanted to get that out there. I don't know, Monique, if you had anything to say or any other board members.
As a Parks board member, I do feel like it's important to acknowledge what's happened over the last 4 days as it relates to the cherry trees in Riverfront Park. The community found out late on Friday that 21 trees would be cut down on Monday to accommodate the NFL draft stage. We already know this. And what followed was an unprecedented public outcry with over 65,000 individuals saying this is not okay. The number of trees was quickly reduced and they were going to be moved and transplanted instead of being cut down. But the numbers in this case are not the issue. The lack of transparency is. There had to have been a lot of people who knew that within Metro that these trees were destined for the mulch pile. After Fort Negley, Metro formed a tree removal committee that's under the Metro Parks Department. And despite reports that this committee approved the cherry tree removal, in fact, the committee never met on this issue. As a city, we have to look at what we have done, what we have not done, and what we can do differently to protect trees. I believe that parks can play a role in turning this travesty into a victory if we commit to working collaboratively with other Metro departments to fix the broken system that allowed this to happen in the first place. And I believe that this department has the leadership, the talent, and the will to do this. In theory, we have the process in place to issue permits for the use of parks. Everyone needs a permit from a family reunion to a huge public event. But I'm scratching my head as to why the NFL was apparently exempt from this process. Parks are owned by the public. They are owned by Nashville citizens who work, live, and play here. And trees are owned by everyone too. Let's listen to what everyone's saying. They care about trees, they care about transparency, and they care about the process. I have a vision for Nashville that instead of being branded the best bachelorette city or the best place for a convention, that we will instead be known for our parks and our trees. Let's together help make that brand a reality.
Well put. I'm sure everybody in this table and in this room agrees with you. So, is there any other comments while we're on the topic? Thank you, Susanna. All right, now we'll move to our agenda. First, old business. 091805, representatives from Cheekwood to present parking plan to the board. I think Jane McLeod is here to do that. Jane, if you want to come to the podium. I do want to thank Cheekwood, Friends of Warner Parks. They've worked very hard. We talked many months ago about this in this room. I know it's been a long-standing situation to deal with. I know everyone's trying to work collaboratively, and that's the way we should all be in everything we work on. So having said that, Jane, if you would like to give your presentation, and most likely this will go to Acquisition Committee for next month, but the floor is yours.
Great. Well, first of all, thank you so much for the opportunity to be here today to speak to you. Metro Parks and Friends of Metro Parks, Friends of Warner Parks, share in common with Cheekwood the responsibility to steward treasured landmarks, renowned nationally and beloved locally, balancing the need to provide public access to them while making every effort to ensure they are preserved for generations to come. Percy Warner Park and Cheekwood also share in common the design influence of renowned landscape architect Bryant Fleming, who created both the Park LA and Cheekwood. It was Fleming who advised the Cheek family to build their estate alongside the park so that the vistas from the mansion, for which he would serve as both architect and designer, would not only be magnificent, but more importantly, in perpetuity. Later this month, as you know, the Cultural Landscape Foundation will be hosting a What's Out There Nashville weekend, celebrating the natural and built landscapes for which our city takes great pride. To paraphrase Charles Birnbaum, president of the foundation, quote, contributing in no small measure to Cheekwood's significance as one of the finest American country place era estates in the country are its panoramic vistas that remain largely intact today. The vistas Charles alludes to are, of course, those provided by the incomparable beauty of Percy Warner Park. This afternoon, I also want to extend my gratitude and thanks to the current, past, and incoming board chairs of Friends of Warner Park, Kevin Roddy, Kristen Taylor, and Jeremiah Perrin, for working with Cheekwood's past and current board chairs, Jimmy Webb and Jim Hunt, who, along with our Metro Council member, Angie Henderson, endorsed the plan I present to you today. We know from archival materials that Mabel and Leslie Cheek Sr. obtained approval in the 1920s from Metro Parks to access their estate via a driveway that went through the park. Years later, after the estate was gifted as a public institution and as attendance grew, a memorandum of understanding between the Metro Parks and Cheekwood was created in 1981, enhancing the Percy Warner Park entrance and extending permission to use adjacent land for overflow parking. Fast forward to 2010, when the institution hosted Chihuly at Cheekwood, which marked the beginning of a new era of growth and attendance, and with it, increased use and need for the overflow parking. Use of the area was expanded in 2015 to include the slash dump. This is a cleared area where woody debris from the park is transported and disposed of, and which we know from photographs was in existence from as early as 1974. Gifted without an endowment, Cheekwood, despite public perception, has since its very inception struggled mightily to remain financially solvent. It is only in recent years and as a result of enhanced public programming, including Cheekwood in Bloom and Holiday Lights, that the institution has achieved a sustained financial viability. But it is one that is dependent upon gate admissions and hence parking, the crux of my presentation today. Following literally years of discussion, I respectfully, with the endorsement of Friends of Warner Park and our Metro Council person, Angie Henderson, submit for your approval a plan to environmentally enhance and improve the efficiency and the safety of the existing Percy Warner Park overflow parking area. These enhancements will be made available to not only Cheekwood visitors, but will be made available free of charge to park visitors, bike trail users, and golf club users. The plan, if accepted, would be delineated in a memorandum of understanding and provide Cheekwood, along with park users, bike trail users, and golf club visitors, continued access to approximately 18 acres of Percy Warner Park land adjacent to Cheekwood, of which 9.5 acres is usable for and currently being used for parking. The term of the MOU would be 15 years. The financial aspects of the plan call for Cheekwood to pay $77,700 per year with a 3% annual increase for use of the area. 30% of that amount would be paid directly to Friends of Warner Park. 7% of those funds would be directed directly to the Nashville Parks Foundation for use citywide, and 63% would be directed to a third-party escrow account restricted for use only for implementing a long-term parking solution. Improvements to the area, including the development of a parking plan, will be at Cheekwood's expense, and Cheekwood will also assume responsibility for annual maintenance and upkeep and be allowed to use interest on the escrow account for those purposes. The physical parking plan will be, first and foremost, environmentally sensitive, improving the property through bioretention, reforestation, and landscape screening, utilizing pervious materials consistent with the current Metro Parks design aesthetic. The physical plan, of course, must be contingent upon approval of Metro Parks and Friends of Warner Parks. During the term of the MOU, Cheekwood will also be working to develop a longer-term plan satisfactory to Metro Parks that utilizes property owned, controlled, or accessed by Cheekwood and may include solely, at the discretion of Metro Parks, a land swap. To demonstrate its good intentions, Cheekwood will provide an annual progress report on its efforts to develop a long-term plan and an accounting of the escrow. Upon completion of the MOU term, if Cheekwood has not developed a plan satisfactory to Metro Parks, escrow funds that have been accruing over the time period will be paid to Metro Parks or at its discretion, Friends of Warner Park. and the area shall be returned to its natural state at Cheekwood's expense or, with the approval of Metro Parks and input from Friends of Warner Park, remain in its improved state. The plan you see today, which is still in conceptual design, first stage of it, was created by Hawkins Partners, and Gary Hawkins is in the audience today, along with representatives from Friends of Warner Parks and Cheekwood, including its board chair, Jim Hunt. I would be very happy to answer any questions you might have right now. And again, just really want to thank you for the opportunity, after literally years of discussion, to be here today to present what we hope will be a viable plan. Any questions?
So this will be deferred to acquisition committee next month, and we'll have a discussion there and then bring it back to the board for consideration. But in the meantime, if any board members have any questions, you can ask now or at the next meeting as well.
One clarifying point that I just didn't see in my material, and maybe it's here and I'm just overlooking it, was the portion that goes to the foundation, that comes from the 30%?
30% goes to Friends of Warner Park.
Okay.
It's written a little bit different in what you sent, which
Okay.
is why I clarified it. 7% will go towards the Nashville Parks Foundation, and 63% will go to the escrow account.
Okay.
In the document you received, it said 10% of the 70%. To make it simpler, that's $7,000. That's 7%, excuse me.
So then the part that is held in escrow would be used,
Long-term for a long-term parking solution.
After the 15 years.
Yeah. So money would be accruing over time that would be restricted for a longer-term parking solution plan.
got it. And I guess my only question is the annual updates, and I guess you would be kind of giving progress reports about what the long-term plan would be. I guess I'm just worried about the condition of satisfaction at the end of 15 years and what specifically would be the satisfaction, because I just want to make sure that's crystal clear, that everyone understands what that satisfaction is.
Well, and I think that's why the amount of time we are going to be meeting and continuing to work with Metro Parks on what that long-term parking solution could be. And so to make sure that it's not being left unattended to for years, the MOU would call as a mandatory step that every year Chief would sit down with Metro Parks and say, okay, here's some ideas we have, here's what we've been working on, here are some opportunities, be it a bus fleet or an off-site parking location or a land swap that came available, or whatever it might be. The point being that this longer-term decision would not be deferred for 15 years. It would begin immediately. And every year, we would also be accounting for, okay, this is how the escrow account is being grown, and, these are the financial ramifications of a long-term plan that we're trying to
Or we could add
address.
deadlines into the...
Okay, yeah, I want to make sure that,
We don't wait
at the
15
end of 15
years,
years,
yeah.
if there hasn't been a land swap that's materialized or some alternative concrete plan that you have, that we're not in an awkward situation of saying, oh, shoot, here we are in 15 years
Right.
and we still have the same problem. Hopefully, hopefully that can get solved, but
Right.
that's a substantial investment that Cheekwood is making in building a parking lot, and I want to, help you all solve the problem, but I just want to make sure that we don't, get to the end of 15 years and
Right.
find like, oh, we have to return it back to what it was
Right.
before.
Right. Which is the guarantee of meeting every year ensures that doesn't
Okay.
happen. And Cheekwood, we've already discussed it, will set up its own parking task force to work on that
Okay.
in tangent with Friends of Warner Park and Metro Parks.
So I'm encouraged by the beginnings of this. I think this is a really good plan. Ballpark, what do you think the investment by Cheekwood is going to be in this proposed concept plan? Do you have a preliminary figure?
We really don't know yet, Gary, but we have based some of the thinking on that it will be a minimum of $1.5 million.
So I think as we go to the acquisitions committee in the next board meeting, we need to take into consideration they're about to invest $1.5 million in something that's much more environmentally sensitive than is currently out there.
And helps our parking problem.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think this is a really good start.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll move to the consent agenda. If there's no objection, we can consider the entire consent agenda for approval.
I'd like to amend item 041902 to also include, that's a grant from the Friends of Two Rivers Mansion,
Okay.
but to also include any increase for employees approved by Metro Council.
Okay. Can I have a motion to accept that motion? A second? Any discussion? So the consent agenda has been amended per the motion. Now, all those have a motion to accept the consent agenda with the amendment.
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The consent agenda with the amendment is carried. We now will move to new business. Councilmember Russ Pooley, welcome. Representing Council District 25, requests permission to address the Parks Board regarding the location of a historical marker to recognize Bill Barnes. Welcome, Councilman.
Thank you, Mr. Anderson. Appreciate it very much. Am I limited on my time? I'll be brief. But please don't mistake my brevity for lack of a bunch of information on this gentleman. What we're asking to do is to locate a historical marker honoring Bill Barnes. And I'm sure that name is not foreign to many of you because of what Bill Barnes means to Nashville. We embarked on this journey a few months ago, and one of the things that we did was form a committee. And Don Thielman, who is here with me today, is one of my constituents, and he's a very sick-minded individual. And Don took the leadership role on this and formed this committee, and out of which we got a lot of ideas. And you may know some of the names on here. It's a very esteemed committee. Father Breen's on it, Avi Poster, Mike Hodge with Noah, and the list goes on of people who really care a lot about Bill, people to whom Bill meant an awful lot. To me, Bill Barnes meant an awful lot. He was a neighbor and a friend. I only knew him as a guy who showed up at neighborhood association meetings until I really got more involved in the city's work when I really understood what he meant. So Bill and I sat a lot. I learned more about affordable housing, inclusionary zoning, and concentrated poverty in the many hours that I spent in Bill Barnes' living room than I did in my entire life. So some of the things I learned about Bill was he was a great agitator, and he got involved in doing the dirty work of many unpopular things at the time. You know, it's really, in this day and time, it's pretty popular for a white guy to go start a church in an African-American neighborhood. Bill Barnes did it in the 60s. It wasn't so popular then. In fact, the things he did in the 60s were dangerous. But he advocated fiercely for the things like affordable housing, inclusionary zoning. He started a lot of things in this arena, and he did so at a time when it wasn't very popular to do so. Project Return, you may know, that's a great organization that helps inmates reintegrate into society, and that's not an easy thing to do. When you dump someone out of a prison into society, recidivism rate is very high because you really don't help the issue and you don't mentor them through the problems. Bill Barnes understood that, and he helped start Project Return, and their recidivism rate is incredibly low because of the things that they do. He cared about issues like that. So in Nashville, he is very iconic. Well, what we want to do is, the idea came from our group that we want this marker located at a place that really not only honors Bill Barnes the appropriate way, but it also speaks to people in the future about what Bill meant. So the idea for putting this historical marker in Public Square Park came for a couple of reasons. Public Square Park is right outside of the courthouse where policy is made. Bill Barnes spent his lifetime agitating and activate and as an activist for change in these areas. Now, he was a good agitator, but he agitated people like me and other policymakers to get things done. And even on his deathbed, it wasn't about Bill Barnes. It was about, you guys make sure to carry on this work because it is not close to being finished. So we've got Jessica Reeves with us here today, who oversees the Historical Marker Program. If you should have any questions for them. And the idea was Bill Barnes, he's outside of the very place where he did all of this advocating and agitating. And we also want to wrap an annual event around a recognition for this marker. And we started this journey with an idea that came from our committee. So I approached Amazon to see what they could do to help us. And so what they did was they started a relationship with Project Return. And they started this relationship by giving them $100,000. That to me is nothing. However, it is seed money to begin a long-term relationship. And we had, I personally had a number of conversations with Amazon representatives about this moving forward. And we did get it in writing from them that this is a long-term commitment. And there are a number of ideas that came out of this. Amazon's got, for example, a restaurant with an organization very similar to Project Return in their Seattle building. And these kind of ideas are being talked through right now with Betty Kirkland, who now is the CEO of Project Return. So these are already things that are coming out of this effort. So my request for you is, we do understand that there aren't any historical markers at Public Square Park to the state, but I can't think of a better person to honor with such a location than Bill. We're not asking for a particular location there. We want to work with the Parks Department and the Parks Board moving forward, if you should graciously consider our request. So I have nothing further. I'm happy to answer your questions. Jessica's here and Don's here if you should have any questions that I can't answer.
Are there any questions? I think we're going to need to defer this until we get the actual recommendation from the Historical Commission of where they want.
And it was our desire to have the Historical Commission meeting prior to this, but they couldn't have a quorum for their March meeting, so they will be meeting next week.
You can meet next week, and we can address it in April and see if we can just discuss it.
Sure.
I'd make a motion to defer until.
Yeah, we just have to wait for the recommendation. Yeah, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right. All right, 041906, Mr. Butch Spiriton, President CEO of Nashville Convention and Visitors Corporation, requests to the Parks Board to accept a donation of field mix valued at $2,500 to assist with field renovations at Charlotte Park Ball Field.
One of the representatives from that league approached them about the donation. They've offered the donation. This will improve the field. Our staff will, and I've checked with maintenance, and they're okay with spreading it. So this is a plus for us. It will make the field a better field.
All right. The department recommends approval.
Move to approve, Mr. Chairman.
Is there a second? Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. 041907, Mr. Kevin Roddy, Board Chair, Friends of Warner Parks, requests board approval on behalf of the Friends of Warner Parks to raise funds up to $3 million for the purpose of restoring the alley located in Warner Parks. Welcome, Mr. Roddy. And,
glad to be here.
We do recommend we add to this motion and give you permission to go forward with the project. So that way we just at one time.
Perfect. That sounds great. Well, I appreciate the opportunity to do just that. Talk to you a little bit about this project. Before I do, let me make a brief comment about this Cheekwood agreement that was crafted with the help of Friends of Warner Parks, which I certainly appreciate the opportunity to do that. It's appropriate, as our mission is to preserve and protect Warner Parks, which is something we've been doing for the last 30 years. As we entered into the conversations with Cheekwood, we kept a couple things in mind. First and foremost, that our mission is to preserve and protect Warner Parks. So under no circumstances would we endorse a plan that jeopardized our mission or that credibility. The second, we understand that this parking issue on Parks land is an issue across the city, so we're mindful of a potential precedent here. That said, we think that this plan does a couple things. First and foremost, it formalizes a conversation and an arrangement that's been going on since 1981. So the fact that we have a formal plan is positive. It takes care and helps abate a severe short-term parking problem in Warner Parks. It incorporates best practices from a commercial real estate standpoint. And our viewpoint is that it is a bridge to a permanent solution that is ultimately Cheekwood's problem. And they are doing a great job of putting a plan, or will do a great job of putting a plan together that they will present to Parks Board within 15 years. Those are my comments about that particular arrangement, and I really appreciate your consideration and approval and endorsement. We're here to talk about another project that Warner Parks wants to undertake, pending Parks approval. It's the restoration of the alley, which is arguably the signature, most prominent feature of Warner Parks. Rather than me doing this, I've asked Gavan White to do this. Gavan is heading up our fundraising efforts for this particular project. Oddly enough, or even cooler, if I could use that word here at the Parks Board meeting, he is a great-grandson of Percy Warner. So his connection with the parks goes back many, many years and is truly a family affair. He was instrumental in the restoration of the sandstone gates. So, Gavan, with that, I'll let you, excuse me.
Kevin, thank you very much. Appreciate you letting me spend a couple minutes here. First, I would like to thank Metro Parks for paying for the study that we've done here. In your hands, you have a study that was done by Collier Engineering that Metro Parks paid for and has helped us start the conversation. So thank you very much for allocating the funds to do that. That was very important. So as many of you know in this room, in 2018, because many of you worked on it, a couple of guys over here worked very hard on it. In 2018, we began a major restoration project at the park. We completed the restoration of the sandstone gates at the entrance to Percy Warner Park. We finished that in 2018. It was privately funded, 100% privately funded. We worked in cooperation with Metro Parks, Metro Historical Commission, Friends of Warner Parks drove it, but we all worked together. It was, I think, a fantastic project where everyone came together and we completed a great project and were able to celebrate the start of something bigger. The sandstone gates, which if you look on there, they were at the bottom of the hill. The alley is probably in the city of Nashville one of the most signature architectural features we have in a public park. It was designed, as we spoke earlier, by Bryant Fleming. You mentioned that. He also designed much of the work at Cheekwood. They're completed in the 1930s. They are one of the, probably, and I know in Percy Warner Park, they're the top, probably, Instagram site in the park. Everyone wants to come and walk these. They're heavily used today. When they were built in 1938, they were out in the country. Today, they're in the heart of the city, get a lot of use. And in the last 90 years, we've learned a lot about water. We build things differently today than we would have in the 1930s. So they're a treasured piece of the park, and we've done a couple of restoration projects. Metro Parks has been very helpful in maintaining and taking care of these over the years. Private funding was done in 2002. However, we've learned that the way things work today, we need to spend more. This needs a significant amount of work done, primarily for stormwater. And so what we're proposing is raising today, privately funded, we'll raise $3 million, of which $2.5 million will go towards the restoration of those steps, but they'll start with the stormwater correction of a number of problems that should have been fixed over the years, should have been fixed when they were built, but we didn't know how water worked back then. And then we'll continue with restoration using the same contractors. These are more pictures of the stormwater. But a lot of masonry restoration, we'll use the Tradesman's Group, who's a Metro approved contractor who did the sandstone gates, who's great to work with. They will historically return it to what it was originally built to be like. We have a great committee here at Friends of Warner Parks. Tara Armstead, our official part-time official architect, landscape architect over here, has spent extensive hours studying this along with many members. And this is an area that's become somewhat dangerous with the erosion and the water continuing to cascade down the hill. And the stonework's falling apart much like it was with the gates. The pictures tell the story. So we'll come back, we'll restore it, we'll correct many of the flaws that water has created. About a third of the cost will go to water preservation, a third will go to the stonework, and then we'll restore the trees around it. Do minor trimming, but also open up and remove the non-invasive plants that shouldn't have been there, and open up the alley like it should be, and make it where it'll last for another 90 years. We'll also establish a $500,000 fund that'll be internally managed to make sure we're continuing to clean out the gutters, continuing to replace plant work, continuing to fix things when a tree falls on something, so that we're not burdening Metro Parks with this ongoing cost of the LA. We think it's the right thing to do. We think it's a good project, and we think we can raise the money and do it privately and fund it privately. We are very excited about it. We ask for your consideration. Got a couple more pictures, I think. Maybe that. There's the cost estimates, which we've provided, $2.5 million for the construction. This also includes the World War I Memorial, which was previously restored, which is adjacent to it, which has some water issues around it. That's about $100,000 to fix that. And then we'll have an ongoing maintenance plan. I have a history of problems with these things. But that's the end of the presentation. So we ask for your approval to raise the funds. We will be working, and we already are working with Metro Parks today, and we'll work with Metro Historical Commission to do the same type of project we did before. And it's something I think we've proven that we can manage and complete in a architecturally correct way, and they'll be sensitive and preserve the park. Any questions,
anybody? I would ask that someone make a motion to add to the motion to amend it to also give permission to go forward with the project, so we have that taken care of.
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second to the amendment?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? The amendment carries. So now we'll consider 04-1907 with the amendment to give permission to go forward with the project. I'll entertain a motion for that.
Move approval.
And second?
Second?
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Thank you. Those great presentations.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Look forward to seeing it. All right, 04-1908, Ms. Paula Van Slyke, Board Chair of the Conservancy for the Parthenon Centennial Park, requests board approval to change the current name of the Conservancy for the Parthenon and Centennial Park to the Centennial Park Conservancy. It's a mouthful, because of a current rebranding of the organization. Welcome, Paula.
Correct. Thank you, Chairman Anderson. Thank you all so much for letting me be here this afternoon. That is one of the reasons that we're requesting your approval for a name change. Our current name is the Conservancy for the Parthenon and Centennial Park, which is a mouthful. It's hard to say. It's hard to remember. And we frequently abbreviate it to the Conservancy, which is very confusing for people. I found out today that we've actually had donations that were supposed to come to us go to the Nature Conservancy, which is wonderful. I mean, I'm happy for them, but I mean, we would have liked to have had those diverted funds. We've been talking about this actually for a while, but I have with me today our new Executive Director, John Tuminello, who, when he took over in January, reached out to a local expert company, Delavanti Creative, to help us with rebranding. And one of their first suggestions was, can you change this name to Centennial Park Conservancy? John, after we discussed it internally, John met with Parks Director Monique Odom and Parthenon Director Wesley Payne, because we'd had this name since 2010, I think is when we changed. And discussed it with them, and then it was voted on by our board on March 4th and approved. The reasons for it, obviously the first one that I mentioned, it's a very difficult name. The fact that we abbreviate it so often to the Conservancy compromises our name recognition and brand awareness. And one of our goals now, since we're in the middle of a huge master plan fundraising for Centennial Park, is to grow our base of supporters, a more community-wide base of supporters, and an easier name would help us do that. Probably most importantly, Centennial Park Conservancy focuses on Centennial Park, as opposed to the Conservancy or the Parthenon. The Parthenon being the iconic building within Centennial Park. But our goal is to protect and promote Centennial Park, and you can see that through our programming. We provide free art programming throughout the park, through Kidsville, both inside and outside the Parthenon, and through Musicians Corner. So we would request respectfully that you all, if you have questions specific to the branding or our rebranding efforts, I know John can answer those, but we would request that you approve our name change to Centennial Park Conservancy.
Are there any questions? The only thing I'd like to say is I would just hope that with that, even the perception doesn't cause a lack of focus for the Parthenon, because it actually all started with the Parthenon and evolved in this board, which I was on initially, now 20-something years ago, on the first one, started with the Parthenon, and then we evolved to take Centennial Park, and now it seems, which is great. There's no issues here. It's just more of, I just want to lose focus on the Parthenon because it is iconic for so many reasons. So that'd be the only thing that comes to my mind. So.
Absolutely. We started actually with Athena. We've just kind of grown from Athena to the Parthenon. And that's one reason why we wanted to, I'm a docent at the Parthenon, have been one for 15 years. And so, I mean, you can't, I love the Parthenon.
Is there a logo change?
Yeah, there will be a logo change, yes. But we're quite aware of that, we trust us. We support the Parthenon. We now have a Parthenon partner, a full-time staff member of the Conservancy, who works with the Parthenon staff quite closely.
All right, any further questions? No, we'll entertain a motion.
Move approval.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. 041909, Mr. Bill Rapp and Mr. Kent Russell, representing Nashville Tennis LLC, request permission from the Parks Board to host the inaugural WTA Women's Tennis Association Nashville Open at the Centennial Sportsplex on August 17th through the 24th of 2019.
I don't look like a Mr. Kent Russell or a Mr. Bill Rapp, do I?
No.
I'm not, no. Mr. Kent Russell was not able to be here today because of a family emergency. I'm Kim Wilson, and I'm with the United States Tennis Association. And so the request is that they want to bring a WTA event, which is the Women's Tennis Association, which was founded in 1973 by Billie Jean King. There's recently, last year, a movie called The Battle of the Sexes that talks a lot about the WTA. I encourage you all to see it. So the request is that this event be allowed to be held at Centennial Sportsplex, and both Kent Smith and Bill Rapp have been negotiating with John Holmes, and I think he has some more details on that. And so there's going to be some give and take. The tournament will be held at Centennial, and in lieu of a facility charge, they are going to do some updates to the tennis center. And that is going to include, John, if you can.
Yes, Johnny, would you talk about the updates that they are proposing, and then also if you just report on the impact to regular Sportsplex users and the revenue?
I had it marked. Give me 1 second. The improvements to the facility specifically are the resurfacing of the indoor courts and courts 1 through 8 and the stadium court. The indoor courts of the stadium court are badly in need of this resurfacing, and because of the level of competition, they have to have a certain surface out there, so that's why they're going to do all the courts, including the 1 through 8. It will also include the upgrade of the lights for the stadium court, and they'll be purchasing the lights that we badly need for the indoor courts. Our maintenance staff will be installing them, but it'll be the purchase of that. Along with that, they will be doing all the equipment, benches, the other equipment that comes along with the tournament. That will be left for our staff to use. They'll also replace nets, sticks, and balls that are left. So all in all, it's about $192,000 worth of improvements and materials that will be left for parks to use. The impact that will, for our facility, actually this is the perfect time of year for us to have this type of facility. It's the slowest time for the Sportsplex, although there really isn't a slow time anymore for the Sportsplex. It's pretty crazy. Fitness staff, we've worked with Recreation, and they've agreed to allow our fitness members to utilize the regional centers, which will expose our normal users to the regional centers, so hopefully that will expand their use of other parks within our system. The aquatics center was supposed to be closed for maintenance. It's a time when the swim team takes a break. The swim classes can take a break, so minimal impact on the aquatic side. And the ice rink, we can rearrange. It's a slow time of the year. We can rearrange the men's league schedule, and they're going to allow us to still bring in the figure skating and the travel hockey through the back entrance. The big deal is they need the entire facility because of the concerns for security. So it's going to be basically shut down from 25th over to Brandow. It'll be all closed off and secured. All told, it would be about $100,000 in potential effect on our revenue. A big portion of that is that we are going to give our members 2 additional weeks on their membership in compensation for this. We feel like since we're going to impose on them, they deserve that. So, in addition to this, they will be doing programs, and they'll be involving the community center staff, the community center kids, doing clinics. Hopefully, we'll get them over at Hadley. We're going to have all these high-level, famous, professional women's tennis players in town, and that's part of what they do is the community outreach. So we'll be having that as well. So we're very excited about that.
I did want to let you know that USTA Tennessee is going to kind of be in charge of all the community outreach to make sure that that's done up to our standards. We've had a long-term relationship with Parks and Rec and community outreach, and I want to make sure that it's done right and that we're all included. So that is a side note that I wanted you to know.
So all in all, in conversations with Recreation, with maintenance, with everybody that I've talked to, at staff at the Sportsplex, everyone's very much in favor of this. We see this as a win-win for parks, for tennis, and for Nashville.
I think this is a great opportunity. I just wanted to say great opportunity for the department. When John and I were first talking about this and being at Sportsplex, I thought about the department as a whole and how the community could benefit, and USTA was gracious enough to expand it to the community outreach piece so that we can make sure that, again, it extends throughout the community. So I think this
it's
is
going to be a great
opportunity.
spotlight for Parks and Rec. I mean, this is going to be covered by ESPN, and this tournament is taking place of a tournament that was in Connecticut for 21 years, and they almost lost the tournament to China. And so they've been able to bring it back in with, hey, we've got a great idea to bring it to Nashville. And when we were first approached by it, they wanted to do it at Vanderbilt because Vanderbilt was such a nice facility. And we were like, we've got a great place that this could be at. So at Centennial.
Would this be a continued thing?
It is, yes. The WTA has given the bid, yes, to these people for 3 years.
This is a 3-year commitment?
Well, this is the deal. They're coming here for approval for this year and for your acceptance of their donation to the park board. When we get done, if and when the park board approves it, I'll be getting with Macy because the next step will be for the council to approve it, and an agreement / contract / what, I'm not sure what the proper term is, that will be written up. But they would like this to be a multi-year event if possible, and have it worded.
Well, today we're just approving for the first year.
That's correct.
Yes.
All right, any further questions?
I move for approval.
We have a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Look forward to seeing the event. All right, 041910, staff request board approval to increase accompanist fee in the Cultural Arts Department from $22 to $25 per session.
Steve Nellis.
Yes, this fee is for our youth ballet accompanist, and it's comparable to other accomplishments around the city. You have the detailed question, Captain what those the ages our dancers by?
Staff recommends approval. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Moving on to 041911, staff requests board approval to accept the donation of capital improvements in Dudley Park with an estimated value of $260,000. The improvements include 2 sand volleyball courts, sports lighting, net seating area, drinking fountain paths, and associated improvements. Tim?
This is a proposal from development that's occurring across the street from Dudley Park called Bento Box. And as a part of that project, they're wanting to invest in the community, including these improvements at the southern end of Dudley Park. So it includes the various components that George listed off and are on the agenda. Plan to Play makes recommendations for additional sand volleyball courts in our park system, so this is consistent with Plan to Play. Planning Division and Maintenance Division have reviewed this concept and recommend approval. Austin Barrett with HDLA, which is the landscape architects who have been working on this, is here if you have any sort of technical questions on it. Otherwise, we would recommend approval conditional on final approval of the final construction documents and appropriate permitting and the usual requirements that we make.
Which is embedded in that anyway, right?
Correct.
Okay. So the staff recommends approval. Any questions for Tim? Yeah.
So where is this exactly? I see Hart Street and 4th Avenue South, but I'm having a hard time orienting what part of it.
South Nashville. It's
Yeah, it's sort of Chestnut Hill.
yeah, so
area.
before
Cemetery,
it
yeah.
turns into
Yeah.
where the fairground is,
Yes.
straight where the train track is.
So it's near the fairgrounds?
Chestnut Hill, Wedgewood.
No, it's
Yeah.
closer downtown.
Closer to
Closer,
downtown, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, I know where it is.
And
Yeah.
this is at the southern end of the park,
I
so
don't know
it won't
what's-
impact any of the other facilities or program elements.
There's a sports field right out in front of it where we do a lot of programming with kickball and that kind of activity.
Yeah, I got it now.
So all of the improvements would be covered by the private dollars, or is it any part of it parks?
100% by the donor,
Okay.
private.
Great.
Motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
We have a motion?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Moving on to 041911, election of park board officers to assume May 119 as per section 1000.4 of the Metro Parks Policy Manual. First, we'll elect a chairman.
I'll make a motion that we reappoint George Anderson as president.
Second. Any discussion?
They'll be embarrassed.
I have a little bird that also tells me that maybe Ms. Steele would be interested in being considered for that position.
I am.
That's fine.
Just in terms of discussion, George, can you clarify your term expiration, or how does the...
I've been asked to serve again.
Oh, okay.
This has to go through council.
Okay.
So I'm fine with that completely.
I don't know how that works.
So what are we doing?
Just
Well,
change
there's a
the motion.
I made a motion.
There's a
George,
motion
and
on the floor.
is it-
Is that how it works? I probably didn't do
What?
it right then.
Or you can remove the motion, and
Well, maybe I'll do that if you want me to do that.
that would be fine.
Or we can vote on the motion.
That's what I
Okay,
said.
all right. So there's a
There was a motion on
motion.
the floor.
Was there a second?
Jeff?
There was a second. There was a second. Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion?
Motion
That's
fails.
not a majority.
Motion fails. A new motion?
So we don't just have nominations?
Mm-mm.
Somebody else
You
has
have
to
to
make a
vote.
motion.
Okay. I make a motion that we consider Ms. Steele as chair next time.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Do I vote? Aye.
This is
Do
awesome.
I vote?
Just vote, yeah.
Yes,
Okay,
I
the motion carries.
Aye.
Okay.
Motion carries.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, we'll move on to vice chairman.
Jared.
Somebody needs to make a motion for vice chairman.
I will move that Susanna be nominated for vice chair.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Congratulations, vice chair.
There you go. This is really unusual.
That's why we do it, right?
Didn't know you wanted that. Macy, we're
Uh,
on track,
We're on
right?
track. Are we good,
We're on
Macy?
track.
Oh, but I'm
We're doing it right. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. And secretary is Shannon, right? You? Oh, and the secretary is normally our director.
But you still have to vote, right?
We still have to vote.
I make such a motion that Monique continues as secretary.
Second.
Thank you, Janet.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Congratulations.
Was there a second?
Yeah, I think there was a second, wasn't there?
I thought it was-
I thought I heard a second.
I thought Stan seconded.
I thought second, yeah, you did. All right, good. All right, so we'll move on to special presentations. The Conservancy for the Parthenon Centennial Park will present their annual update to the board.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman and Ms. Odom. I'm going to be brief. Can I do it here since they took the advance?
It doesn't matter.
No,
Can't
I
turn
don't
the
need it.
pages.
I'm pretty loud.
Why don't we?
Somebody change the.
Okay, I'll put the television. Got it.
One of our people. Yeah.
Jim's getting a pointer. Exactly. I'm going to breeze through this rather quickly in the interest of time because I have a lot to cover in terms of our 2018 accomplishments and then with a bit of updates on 2019. I want to thank you again for your consideration in approving our name change. That is a big asset to us going forward. As you know, our mission is to preserve, enhance, and share the Parthenon and Centennial Park. We do that in two primary ways. The first, in preserving and enhancing, we do that through the Centennial Park revitalization. And through sharing, we do that through arts and education programming in the Parthenon and park. We have recently had a leadership transition. Sylvia Rappaport has transferred into a part-time role as founding president, and she is focusing on our capital campaign and our gala. I've assumed the role of executive director in managing the day-to-day operations of the organization. In terms of preserving and enhancing the Parthenon and Park, we work very closely with Tim Naich and Metro Parks on the Centennial Park revitalization. We're currently working with them on Phase 2 and providing $5 million in funding, private funding for Phase 2, while also funding for future phases of the revitalization. Sharing the park, we view Centennial Park as Nashville's cultural and central park, and our primary mission is to have the park be a gathering place for our entire community, keeping all of our programs free without cost as a barrier to entry. Those programs are focused in 3 categories: education, art, and music. In education, we work very closely with Wesley Payne and the Parthenon staff to help fund and present educational programming within the Parthenon. We co-manage our docent program and our greeter program, and we also run the architecture tours that take place every weekend. In 2018, we presented 87 architecture tours for 2,000 attendees, and all of those were free. We also presented a civil rights discussion back in October called Wade Into These Waters, the Arc of the African American Experience in Centennial Park. That was an event that was held at the former public swimming pool at the Centennial Arts Center, and it featured several prominent community leaders, including Monique Odom. We held our Conversations on Art and Architecture. Our latest event in 2018 was the Art of Songwriting, featuring Rivers Rutherford. And in 2019, we're planning a conversation on Cuban photos and architecture with photographer Tommy Crow. And as you know, there was a Cuba exhibit at the Tennessee Centennial Exposition. Our Kidsville program presented 100 free educational events. We did 42 of those. Those take place Saturday mornings in the Parthenon, so every Saturday morning at 11 a.m. We did 34 of those events in Centennial Park, and 24 of those events across the community as community outreach. We served 10,000 children in 2018, and again, 100% of those programs were free for everyone. These are some of the organizations that we partnered with on those community outreach events, about a dozen organizations in 2018, including several metro organizations and several private organizations across Nashville. We presented our second annual Kidsville Family Festival, a full-day festival dedicated to families in Centennial Park, last September. We established a partnership for the first time with the Nashville Public Television and had PBS Kids out there. And also we've established a partnership with Dolly Parton's Imagination Library, trying to promote literacy amongst families in the Middle Tennessee area. We are doing our next festival this September on the 21st. We also partnered with Celebrate Nashville. In 2018, we took over managing the Kidsville area with Celebrate Nashville. So we've been working very closely with Cindy and that team, and we are once again managing that area in October 5th for the next Celebrate Nashville event. The Nashville Scene recognized our Kidsville programs as one of the best of Nashville. They wrote up a special Writer's Choice distinction and named the Kidsville at the Parthenon the best free children's series in the city, which was wonderful to see a media program highlighting what we're doing right here in Centennial Park and specifically in the Parthenon. In terms of art, we work with the Parthenon team in helping to fund and promote their art exhibits and working with them on preservation. This includes the ongoing exhibit of the permanent collection of the Cowan Collection, and also temporary exhibits. These are 2 examples from last year. We did an exhibit on the one and only Harry Shepard, which was a discussion about the pioneering African-American photographer who won an award during the Tennessee Centennial Exposition, and we held a panel discussion in partnership with Fisk University and with Nashville Arts. Music, our Musicians Corner program celebrated its 9th year. In 2018, we presented 21 free community events. We supported, showcased, and paid over 100 artists, and those were attended by 75,000 people. We also have worked with our Nashville music community to rally them around supporting this program in Centennial Park, and these are some of the many organizations on Music Row that have supported us in 2018. We partnered for the second time with the Nashville Symphony in presenting their community concert at Musicians Corner in 2018, and they're coming back on Thursday, June 6th for another concert at Musicians Corner. The Musicians Corner program, like Kidsville, was recognized with several awards in the Best of Nashville by the Scene, and again, a special Writer's Choice distinction. They voted it the best festival programming upgrade, and the quote was that the Musicians Corner lineup stood head and shoulders above the rest. Knowing that we're in Music City with the amount of very high caliber music program, this was a great honor for us to receive. Our Conservancy Gala took place in November. It was recognized by In Focus with 4 distinctions as one of Nashville's best parties, and this will take place again on Saturday, November the 2nd. In terms of our financials, our revenue for the year was $1.16 million. You can see the categories mainly where the revenue came in, primarily our programs and our fundraisers. Our expense was $1.28 million, and you can see the expenses primarily where we spent money. In terms of a little bit of 2019 preview, since we're a bit into the year, we are on April 13th coming up, our first ever Kidsville Honey Bunny Festival. As you know, there are the honeybees that were introduced to Centennial Park as part of the revitalization. They sit on Lake Watauga. We've been working with Tim Naich and Tara Armistead on that project, and we're working to teach children about the environment, sustainability, and the importance of bees. And so we'll be having that festival. Elmo from Sesame Street is making a special appearance as another connection to PBS Kids, helping us to promote the Kidsville program.
Walk around Elmo, right?
Walk around Elmo.
Right.
There's a difference, you must
There's a
know.
difference.
He doesn't stand behind a table, he walks around. We have been working for several years with Bonnaroo. Bonnaroo helps to fund Kidsville. Believe it or not, Bonnaroo has children's activities. Some parents bring their children to Bonnaroo. Bonnaroo has asked Kidsville to run the children's activities at Bonnaroo, and currently Live in the Green has asked Kidsville to potentially run their children's activities. The wonderful part about that is obviously we are centered in Centennial Park, but as part of our community outreach, there's a lot of organizations that see what's going on in Kidsville and would like to be part of that outreach. This helps us to further promote our Kidsville at the Parthenon program and everything that is happening right here in Centennial Park. We are also introducing this week an educational culinary series called Chef's Odyssey, and the first event is called the Be My Honey Dinner. That is taking place this week, Wednesday and Thursday at Lachlan Table, and again is working to create awareness for the honeybees in Centennial Park, and this will be an ongoing series with chefs across Nashville with, at some point, some events taking place hopefully inside the Parthenon. We introduced in March a chamber music series in the Parthenon. Those of you who have ever listened to music in there know that there's a 6-second reverb delay with all of the marble. So we have young composers across Nashville specifically composing music to be played inside the Parthenon. That was a sold-out event. There are 3 more coming up. The next one is on June the 9th. And our Musicians Corner program is celebrating 1 decade of free music in Centennial Park. It is kicking off on May 10th and 11th. We will once again be presenting 21 free community music concerts. Those will be in May, June, and September. And Mayor Bradley will be making an appearance and speaking, introducing the headliner on Saturday, May the 11th. That is our update. I want to thank everyone on the board and in Metro Parks. It is truly an honor to serve as a support organization for both our landmark Parthenon and Centennial Park.
Thank you, John,
Thank you.
for that update. Now we'll move to the Friends of Green Hills, present their annual update.
My name is.
It's just for the Metro 3.
Oh, my name is Laura Fox, and I am the president of Green Hills, Friends of Green Hills Park, and this is Patrick Bradley. He's our treasurer. We are an all-volunteer organization, and we are having fun with our neighborhood park. Our mission is to improve our park, to build community in the Green Hills area, and to increase walk and bike connectivity to the park. Patrick gave you a handout. I think it was in your packet, but this is a color version. And it has a list of our financials and our accomplishments this year, and also talks about some improvements that we'd like to make. And I think I think that needs to be on your next agenda, I'm guessing, because we didn't have the public notice sufficient for this meeting. But in the past year, Public Works has spent $500,000 improving our park by adding a sidewalk. The sidewalk was going to go on the exterior of the park, but we talked to them about coming into the park and not cutting down the trees on the outside. And we are so happy that that happened. It's created a beautiful new entrance at the corner of Lone Oak and Belmont Park Terrace that curves and looks really lovely. It's improved our Arden Place sidewalk. It's improved our Arden Place entrance, and then there's a sidewalk that goes on to the condos at Arden Place. So that's been fantastic. Most of our funds, we raised last year $28,000 approximately, and most of that came from the Green Hills Park Festival, which is a free festival, but we have sponsorships that we sell, and it's worked out very, very well. We have a new name sponsor this year. Gluck Orthodontist will be our name sponsor for this year's festival, and we're looking forward to that. That'll be on September 14th. Last year we had over 1,000 attendees, so it's very popular. We've got lots of kids' activities. It's really fun. And we just found out that we have been awarded a Predators Foundation grant. So that will help us with phase 1 of our obstacle course, which we're trying to put some natural logs and climbing equipment for kids, some alternatives to commercial swing sets just for fun, and also so adults can use them for exercise. So let's see. Right now we have $21,000 on hand, and we're working, like I said, on some improvements, including the fencing, and we will come back to you next month with those, asking for your permission for those improvements. If anyone has any questions?
Any questions?
And
thank you so much.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
All right. Tim, capital projects update?
I'll just hit on 3 items that have changed since last month. At Bellevue Park, the Red Caboose Playground construction has started on foundations and footings. The caboose has been relocated to the front of the park, and there will be community build days on the playground May 3rd, 4th, and 5th. And I think all of that's a week before your next meeting. So I wanted you to be aware of the community build days. Jefferson Street Park, construction bidding is underway on that. We expect to have those bids within the next couple of weeks. And we have completed work on Oakwood Park, and I'm going to guess Jackie has some info on the ribbon cutting.
Okay.
That's it.
All right. Any questions for Tim? Jackie?
So spring is sprung, and your agenda for events has gotten longer. I think the last time we met, it was only a 1-page agenda. It is now 3, which is indicative of the number of events booked at our parks. We have 7 Easter egg hunts that are booked throughout the park system. Mr. Fossick, you'll be interested in knowing we have 2 weddings. They're not listed on here. But we finally got the weddings. We finally got those weddings back in the park for you. This Saturday, we will have the 9th annual Nashville Outdoor Recreation Festival and Expo. It's at the Bells Bend Outdoor Center. It starts at 9:30. Sessions includes intro to nature photography, paddling with pets, and rock climbing, along with music and fun. So that's it's a real popular event. It's always well attended. If you haven't attended, I think it's one you might want to check out. Also, April 12th, we have the CAC Spring exhibit for new artists. The exhibit for May will include, is titled 4 Artists, 4 Voices, 4 Women. So they will have artwork over at the Centennial Art Center. Tim mentioned the reopening of Oakwood Park. That is scheduled for Saturday, April 13th at 1:30 p.m. So we hope you guys will be able to attend that. We also have Earth Day on Saturday, April 20th, 7 o'clock in Centennial Park. And we have the Richland Creek Run also on April 20th at the Richland Creek Greenway. And we have other events that are posted on our website and will be coming out in our newsletter as well.
All right. Well, thank you for that. Any other department updates? Anybody? All right, report of the director.
Okay, thank you. I first want to thank all of you who were able to attend the mayor's budget hearing last week. Thank you so much for your support, and thank you to those of you who were not able to join us. Thank you for your continued support. And you have at your place a summary of our budget submissions for FY20, and I would like to just briefly walk through them, and I can follow up with you with any detail if you have any questions. So we've asked for staffing and operational costs for Bellevue Regional Community Center. As you may recall, Tim has reported, and it's included on his report, and he's reported before, that the Bellevue Neighborhood Center is relocating to One Bellevue Place and will become a regional community center. So we have, again, request for expanded staffing and operations for that facility, expected to open in late 2019.
Will that make 5 regional centers now?
How many regional? Will that be 8? 7. 7. Okay, 7 regionals. And just FYI, regionals are revenue-based facilities. We did ask for funding for the warming shelters, as we have reported many times in this setting. Our staff lends a hand with the last resort shelters when there's extreme climate outside, extreme cold or extreme heat. Extreme cold in this case. The shelter this year has been housed at Shelby Community Center and is staffed by folks from across the department, including the custodial area, community centers, maintenance, park police. And so that money is not in our budget. We have absorbed it for the last several years and have requested funding to recoup those costs. We asked for $50,000 to prepare for the Tennessee Recreation and Parks Association Conference, which will be here in Nashville next year in 2020. Then in 2021, we will be the host for the national conference for the National Recreation and Parks Association. So we've requested that funding. The national conference will have about 9,000 attendees. So it is a big deal and a heavy lift for us, and we're looking forward to it. We have folks on staff already who have been training for a few years now to be able to lead that conference and get the know-how to do what we need to do. We have requested about $470,000 for ground maintenance, and that we asked for this funding, a part of it, last year to outsource some of the grounds maintenance operations so that we can reassign our internal staff to areas that require more specialized attention. And then just as a bulk, we've asked for some staffing and departmental enhancements. That includes a few positions and then a lot of what is considered discretionary spending, but it's really spending that we need across the system for supplies and equipment and things like that. With the expansion of the system over the past several years, we are lagging behind in those areas, and I'd say in every area of the department, golf courses and revenue producing maintenance, and everywhere else. So we have requested that. As you can see, the total of our request is about $2.5 million, which is about 6% of our current budget. And we hope that we get all of these. The mayor, as you may recall, is very supportive of the department and has acknowledged that while, we can't get things done, improved in one fell swoop, but he's committed to working with the department and improving the budget. So we're very grateful for that. And I'd like to also mention that our budget hearing before Metro Council will be May 22nd at 4 o'clock, and I hope that you all will attend to show your support for the department. That's all I have.
May 22nd?
Yes, at 4. Thank you.
All right, any other comments?
Look, Monique, I didn't see the budget in our material. Is it?
It's one sheet or
it's
it's
a Word document.
Great, okay.
It's this one right here.
I can get it to you.
Okay. Oh, there it is. Okay, I see it now.
There it is, yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Okay.
Any other questions, comments, agenda items?
May I make a comment about Earth Day that Jackie mentioned? The Nashville Parks Foundation is producing Earth Day this year. It's going to be awesome, and we would love to have you come out and be a part of it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else? We'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
This has been a service of the Metro Nashville Network. If you would like to see this presentation again, or for more information about this and other programs, visit nashville.gov.